Okay, I've just finished working on my PDF pattern and I sent it over to Victoria to review and she said it looks great, so it is time to print it. She also said that she thinks it's good enough to make a wearable toile, so we are gonna get straight into cutting some denim and I am so excited. So without further ado, I'm going to print this pattern and piece it together. You guys, I do not think I can tell you how excited I am about this pattern. I don't own any denim shorts at the moment. The reason that is because I can never get anything to fit me the way that I want it to. It's either like too much bum showing, or it's too tight in the crotch area, or it seems like it fits and it looks like it fits when I'm standing up, but then when I'm sitting down, everything is like uncomfortable. So I've been really wanting to make the perfect pair of shorts, and I knew in my mind exactly what those would look like for me, but up until this point, I didn't know how to execute it. Another thing that's really interesting is that at the beginning of this course, I remember thinking about what patterns I was going to create, and I was kind of limiting myself to things that were not super complex. And I think that's because I didn't think that I could do anything that was super complex. And even after Victoria had told us at the very beginning that she recommended that we try complex designs, I don't think I was thinking big enough. In my mind, making a pair of denim shorts or jeans or pants was kind of like the peak of difficulty, and even trousers in my mind for some reason felt a lot more simple than jeans did. And you know, I think that that's because jeans have so many pieces to them. Like there's a zipper fly construction, there's hardware involved, there's a yoke in the back involved, the pocket placement is something that I was racking my mind about. You know, there's like just so many aspects. And yeah, I wasn't planning at all to really make a pair of jeans or jean shorts when I first started this class because I thought it was going to be too difficult, I guess. Like I said, it was like the peak of difficult pattern making in my mind. I've always envied people who were pattern makers who could make really great jeans patterns or pants patterns in general. Like Anna Allen, for example. I'm super inspired by her, and her pattern making skills are amazing. I mean, look at the Persephone pants, for example. Those are like a tried and true staple. Pretty much anyone in the sewing community who sews garments knows what you mean when you say Persephone pants. And that's a huge testament to how amazing of a pattern maker Anna Allen is. And previously, I wasn't so sure that I was gonna be able to be that someday. And as I've gained these skills during this course, I feel super confident in my abilities now, which I guess is why this course is called Confident Pattern Making and Grading. At this point, I'm still checking in often with Victoria. You know, I want to make sure that I'm on the right track, but at the same time, I think that I would feel really confident in my abilities even if she wasn't here. At the beginning, of course, there was like a lot of hand-holding, and not so much anymore. A lot of the time when I ask for her opinion, it's kind of in line with what I'm already thinking, or maybe I come up with a solution to a problem. She offers a potential other way to fix that solution. But all of that to say that I'm really proud of how far I've come, and I'm really thankful to Victoria because I could not have come this far this fast without this class. I've learned so much and I'm so excited that I feel pretty confident about being able to take something in my mind and create a PDF out of it and then make a garment. I couldn't have said that just 7 weeks ago. So yeah, I hope that's just a little bit of encouragement to you if you're interested in learning how to pattern make. It's definitely something that can be intimidating, but it's also very learnable, and I would encourage you to try if you wanna. And if you don't, that's cool too. I appreciate you being here and watching my journey. I hope that someday you wanna make these clothes because they'll be available to purchase as PDF patterns, and I cannot wait for that. I'm feeling very excited. Okay, I'm gonna finish piecing together this pattern, and I will chat with you when I'm ready to see if my fabric is big enough, because at this point, I don't know if I have enough fabric. If I don't end up having enough of the fabric that I'm planning to use, I am gonna have to wash some fabric, which means I won't get to toile until tomorrow, but that's okay. And hopefully that just doesn't happen. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish this up now. Okay, here we go. It is the moment of truth, finding out whether or not I have enough denim to make another pair of shorts out of this fabric. I've used this fabric before for Helene jeans, and I love this fabric. It is super, super nice, but this is definitely like an off-cut kind of piece. So we'll see if I have enough, but I'm already thinking that I have enough. Oh, I'm so excited. This is such nice fabric and I love working with it. I bought it from my old local fabric store, which is in Reno, Nevada, and I miss it dearly. I wish that I could shop there like multiple times a week like I used to, but I do not. And so I'm very much savoring the fabric that I have from them, and we're gonna find out real quick if I can get all of these pattern pieces on here. Let's see. Whenever I'm sewing up a pattern that has a curved waistband, I always feel like it's eating up a lot of fabric because it's so curved. It like takes up a lot of space, more space than if you had like one skinny, long, straight piece that you could, you know, put right next to some other pattern pieces. But doing this makes you really have to like maneuver the pieces around differently. So that's something to keep in mind. But, oh yeah, I'm for sure gonna be able to fit all this. I am excited. Okay. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Now I hope they fit, because otherwise I'm going to be really sad if I use this fabric and they don't fit. But I'm pretty positive they'll fit because I made a toile already. And although there are quite a few changes to this, it's only going to allow more space. It's not like I took away fabric or something from the toile. So should fit okay. I'm very excited. Okay, I'm going to get to cutting and then maybe to sewing. Okay, you guys, we are at a good try-on point. I haven't done the waistband. I also haven't hemmed the bottom, although I have turned it up, and I haven't stitched down the side seams. Like, I haven't top stitched down the side seams. So I figured we would try it on right now to see how it's fitting, and I'm not totally sure how I'm feeling yet. Let me take this off so you can kind of see. There is purposefully a lot of ease throughout the like hip and thigh and crotch area of this pattern, but I'm wondering if it's too big. I'm almost positive that I didn't add any extra ease to the side seam here, but it seems like it should be quite a bit tighter. There's quite a lot of space through here and I'm not totally sure why. I'm pretty positive that I followed all the seam allowances that I made for it. Yeah, I'm not sure. But with that being said, I do have a curved waistband that's gonna go on this, and the curved waistband is drafted to fit my waist really nicely. So I'm thinking that maybe once the curved waistband goes on, it's gonna hug where I want it to and then be relaxed everywhere else, which was definitely the goal. But with my muslin, I'm pretty positive that before the waistband went on, this was quite a bit tighter. Yeah, there's just quite a lot of space through here, so I'm not totally sure how that happened. I might need to go back and check my seam allowances, but I'm pretty positive that I did what I was supposed to. Other than that though, I'm really enjoying like a lot of the details here. I'm pretty happy with the shape of the pockets. The shape of these back pockets is pretty good, and it feels really comfortable, obviously, because the jean material isn't like up in my body very close, so that's super nice. So yeah, I'm thinking that I'll put on half of the waistband potentially and see how it fits from there and kind of like pin it up. And if it doesn't fit properly, I'm gonna take it in at the side seams here because I haven't top stitched the side seams down, and I think that that would be a pretty good place to take it in, and I can just kind of blend from where it needs to start to the edge at the bottom here. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with these. I'm happy overall, just gotta get the fit right on these. Okay, you guys, so Victoria and I chatted back and forth in the Discord group for a little bit to figure out why in the world these shorts are way different than the muslin. So basically, I put on my muslin and I put on the shorts that I'm making right now, and there's a full 1 inch difference at the waist. First, Victoria had me check the scale of the pattern to see if maybe I printed it incorrectly. The scale was correct, so then she said, well, maybe the yoke grew. So I took the yoke piece and I matched it against the pattern piece, and the yoke was the same size. I also put my pattern pieces from my muslin as well as my pattern pieces from this new pattern on top of each other to see if there were any changes to the pattern that I didn't make in Illustrator on purpose. Everything was matching up properly, and we were both a little bit perplexed at this point. So Victoria said I should study my muslin against the new shorts, and that's exactly what I did. I basically put all the seam allowances up to each other, made sure that things were matching up the way that they were supposed to, and for the most part they were. All the side seam allowances were correct, you know, the pockets were correct, all that sort of thing. But what we figured out is that this 1 inch difference is coming from how I constructed the fly. Basically, there are a load of different ways that you could construct a fly, and I've done a handful in the past, so I was kind of toying around with how I wanted to construct the fly. I asked Victoria if she could send me some instructions on how to go about constructing the fly based on how she does it, but because she actually had to go and make those instructions, she hadn't had them made by the time I was ready to do my muslin. So I proceeded with sewing my muslin, and I constructed the fly the way that I've constructed flies in the past. Then once it was time for me to do my wearable toile, she had given me the instructions already, so I used those instructions, and basically the seam allowances that I used on the muslin versus the seam allowances that I ended up using on this new pattern were quite a bit different and resulted in a full 1 inch difference at the waist. 1 inch is a little bit over 4 centimeters, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take in the waist by 4 centimeters. I'll start in an extra centimeter on both sides, and then I'll blend to the bottom of the shorts. That way it'll get the waist area pretty close to where it should be, and then at least I'll be able to salvage this toile so that it's actually wearable. So now the question comes in, do I change the pattern, or do I just change the way that I constructed the fly and do it the same way that I constructed the fly in the muslin? I'm definitely leaning towards not changing the pattern and using the fly construction that felt the most intuitive for me. That way I'll have an easier time writing directions and all of that. I think that ultimately I'll also do another wearable toile and do the fly construction that I had done with my muslin just to make sure that the pattern is actually fitting the way that I want it to. That is going to take quite a bit of time, which I'm kind of bummed about because I've already actually spent quite a bit of time on these shorts. I've essentially been sewing them for the past 3 days because I was really motivated on the first day, and then on the second day I was feeling a little bit less motivated, so I didn't put in a ton of effort. I probably worked for like half a day on them. Part of the reason it took so long is because I'm filming, but then I also wanted to create a tutorial on how to do a zipper fly construction, which I think at this point I'm gonna scrap because I want to make the zipper fly construction tutorial based on the way that I'm gonna do it for my patterns. So yeah. And actually, now that I think about it, the way that I constructed the fly for my trouser pattern that I just made is the same way that I did for this muslin. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the zipper construction the same throughout all of the patterns that I make. And with that being said, I think I'll go back to the old construction and then create a new tutorial based on that. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind's at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up these shorts, and I'll come back to you when they're finished because I have done a lot of filming of the process at this point. I will see you then. So before I step back and show you what they look like on, let me preface it by saying I did want these to be a wearable toile, and in order to get them to be wearable, there were a handful of changes that I needed to make to the pattern in order for it to actually fit my body. One of those things, for example, was the side seams. The side seams needed to be taken in by quite a bit so that they weren't so like A-line and balloon shaped. I did want there to be a slight A-line, but the way that it showed up from me putting it on Illustrator to turning it into a pattern that was actually on my body was very much too big and angular. It looked like there was a balloon around my hips, and that is not the goal. I think that to some degree, once jeans go through the wash, they relax a little bit and they get more comfortable around the seam areas, but it was definitely too voluminous around the hips. So in order for them to fit me in a way where I would actually wear them, I did adjust the side seams. Another big change that I made was the length of the shorts. I took them in by like this much. This is how much I took off of the leg. It's quite a bit. It's probably 3 inches all around. I don't know, maybe I had this idea in my mind that I wanted them to be longer than I actually did, and then when I put them on my body, they just didn't feel super flattering for me. So I did decide to change that. Other than that, there wasn't anything too major. Obviously, the reason that a lot of these adjustments had to be made was because there was so much excess in the waist from when I did my muslin versus this round, which again was because the zipper fly was constructed differently, which caused excess and yada yada. You guys know the story already. So I do need to kind of figure out what those adjustments are that I have to make. I started writing notes about all these different things, and this toile is actually going to be super, super helpful, but I think I'm also going to need to make another wearable toile so I can get a better understanding of how it's going to be fitting on my body when the fly is constructed the way that I want to construct it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, but let me actually show you them now. Okay, so here they are. I'm very, very happy with how they eventually turned out after a lot of modification. They are gonna go through the wash and definitely soften up, and I know that because I've used this denim before, and it becomes a lot more relaxed after its first wash. So I'm going to take them off right after this so that they can go through the wash and I can see what they feel like after that. But anyways, there's a lot of ease in this crotch area, which is exactly what I wanted. I want to see how they wear over time though, because right now it seems like a little bit crinkly in here, but it feels really comfortable. It'll be nice to sit in and all of that. I did all of like the classic jeans hardware on these. I did it as well on the back pockets here. I'm really happy. I think that the pockets look really nice. However, when I stick my hands inside the pockets, I noticed that how deep they go this way actually isn't enough. So they're like this deep. I want them to probably be like this deep. So I'm definitely gonna add some length this way. The inseam is like this big, so I don't know, maybe 3 inches or 2 inches. It's definitely not a booty short, but it's also definitely not super long. I think it's a pretty flattering length, but obviously length is something that's super, super easy to modify. For example, if you were going to buy the pattern from me, you could make them shorter, you could make them longer, whatever you're personally into. Here's what the back looks like. The one thing that I'm noticing with the back is that there's a tiny bit of bunching in the yoke, which I think just means that I need to shave off like a little bit from the top of the yoke so that the waistband sits a little bit lower. But overall, yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out. I kind of like that these pockets are really big and they're like taking up your whole booty area. But yeah, there we go. There's my wearable toile. I'm very happy that they came together. Like I said before, I feel like making a pair of jeans from scratch is the one thing that I thought was going to be super scary and almost unattainable. And the fact that I was able to make these from my mind onto Illustrator, cut it out of muslin, and then cut it out of real fabric is kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm very proud of these. Thank you so much for being here on this journey with me. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, but you got all the way to the end of this video, please subscribe because obviously that means you're interested in what I'm doing, and I would love for you to be here long term. I hope you enjoyed this episode of me learning how to make patterns, and I will see you in the next one.